voluntarily. So jumping right in, we got the legal basis for the U.S. human trafficking laws. The U.S. has a long history of addressing forced labor and human trafficking. Federal law relativity, like I said earlier, 1589, 1581, or 1591. And then Kansas law applies here at KSA 21-5426. Moving on. A little bit of backup there. This kind of falls under the consent federal law TVPA. Labor trafficking under the Trafficking Victims Protection Act, or the TVPA, can include the recruitment of harboring, transportation, or obtaining other persons for labor or services by means of force, fraud, or coercion. Even if the workers choose to cross the border voluntarily, the treatment itself threats withholding of wages and comes back to legal level. And yeah, I kind of did that both times. I just noticed that. It's kind of a more in-depth description. Historical and legal precedents. I wanted to use United States versus Kaminsky in 1988, the Supreme Court ruling that psychological coercion is justified, not just physical force. Both psychological coercion and physical force can induce forced labor, and Trafficked in America, it really fits this model and explains it in depth, explaining how the minors that were being brought over were held under threat, debt, bondage, deception. And I mean, really, like I said earlier, this is indentured servitude almost, and the 13th Amendment in the United States outlawed indentured servitude and slavery, which I believe this is borderline what it is. Consent matters, like I said, use both of those as an example. And kind of want to get into the part where the guy left and fled from Mexico. Yes, I believe he should be held accountable. Mens rea, criminal intent. Whether he was there or not, the psychological coercion is there. The forced labor is there. Any boss can look at his employees and tell if they're having a good work day. And if he's the boss and he ran, he had to have known something was going on. And I kind of threw in the use of conspiracy, 18 U.S.C. 371. He could have coordinated with recruiters, supervisors, and he could even face charges like that. And we can't forget about vicarious liability. And my personal belief on that, I mean, looking at Kansas law, if this was to go down in Kansas, the employers are responsible for illegal actions of their employees. So the company as a whole, he should be held responsible as well as the company. The sociological and legal theories, I wanted to do the deterrence theory and the conflict theory. I thought those were the two most kind of equal when it came to this. And overall, my conclusion that trafficking in America, it's a case that demonstrates that even the workers themselves, they may initially agree to migrate. However, due to deception, forced labor, it can turn from a green card or an opportunity to work into trafficking itself. And anybody, like the fleeing manager, for example, should be held accountable just as much as the corporation itself. Kansas law and federal law don't differ too far. I think the exact same things would happen if it happened here instead of Ohio. But overall, Trafficked in America does a really good job explaining this. And then my cited sources. Thank you.